Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today. Chapter 297-296. Alex Arrive, Part 2. The clash of law still hums in the air, but it goes no further. Alex stands there, one hand pressed lightly against a sword of fire law. The weapon trembles, its brilliance dimming beneath his touch, as if the law itself refuses to defy him. Valira exhales a shaky laugh of relief. Gratham lowers his axe, chest heaving molten breaths. Zurich snarls low, void flickering around his fangs, but even he falls still. Vernoso's eyes widen, shock cutting across his fury. What? His voice cracks, disbelief dripping from it. He can feel it, this new figure is only tier 6. His senses don't lie. And yet, this monster just halted his execution. Impossible. A tier 6 stopped my law weapon. The fire swords vanish into smoke at his command. His smirk returns, though thinner, hiding unease. You must be their king. Alex's hand drops to his side. He doesn't move, doesn't posture. Yet his presence fills the battlefield heavier than any law-born flame. His voice is calm, almost casual. Yes, I am. He glances at his enemy, and the system flickers before his eyes. Name: Vernoso race. Human level: 705 tier 7. Alex's gaze sharpens faintly. So he just broke through. Vernoso tilts his head, curiosity twitching beneath the heat of his fury. Bold. But tell me, what makes you think a tier 6 insect can demand payment from me? Instead of answering, Alex studies him closer, his tone oddly measured. Tell me, how long have you been tier 7? The question catches Vernoso off guard. He frowns, brows knitting. Why would an enemy ask that now? Still, his pride wins out over caution. 50 years. Since my breakthrough. Alex raises a brow, expression unreadable. 50 years. Yes. Vernoso snaps, his temper stoked by the calmness in Alex's voice. Tier 7s live 1,000 years at least. My path is steady, patient, unstoppable. Alex exhales through his nose, almost a laugh. He tilts his head slightly, speaking not in mockery, but genuine observation. 50 years, and this is all you amount to? Isn't that too slow? His pride recoils, yet some part of him falters. He can't tell if this king is mocking him, or stating a truth his own heart has avoided. Alex studies him in silence, his thoughts hidden. He can't tell if this man is simply trash who wasted 50 years, or if this is just how this world works. The silence hangs for a heartbeat too long. Then Vernoso sneers, shoving doubt down with rage. You dare lecture me, insect? He spreads his hand, fire law coiling into a single sword. Its edge so sharp the air hisses apart before it even swings. Let's see you hold your tongue when you're ash. He vanishes forward, speed fueled by law, and slashes down at Alex. Clang. The world shakes as steel meets flame. Vernoso's eyes widen. The sword doesn't cut through. Instead, another weapon locks against it. Black metal etched with golden veins, radiating a weight far beyond tier 6. A tier 7 weapon. Alex holds it casually, one hand braced on the hilt, as if it were no heavier than a branch. His gaze doesn't even flinch. Surprised. Vernoso staggers back a step, greed igniting behind his fury. Even he, after 50 years in tier 7, never claimed such a treasure. His lips curl into a sharp grin. So that's it. You hide behind a weapon stronger than you. Good. When I tear it from your corpse, I'll finally have what I deserve. He lunges again, slashes a dozen strikes in a blink. Firelaw howls with each blow, splitting the ridge into rivers of molten stone. Alex meets every strike cleanly. No wasted motion. His blade hums like a song of inevitability, each parry sparking shockwaves that rattle the valley. Clang, crash, boom. Steel and law clash, and for the first time Vernoso feels resistance. Real resistance, not a desperate block, not a fleeing dodge. This tier 6 moves like an equal. Vernoso snarls between strikes, voice strained. Impossible. You're tier 6. You shouldn't even see my movements. Alex's tone is calm, almost instructional. Your swings are wide. Too much flourish. Power without precision is wasted. The calmness drives Vernoso mad. He roars, pouring more fire law into his blade. The world blazes, sky splitting open, ground liquefying under the force of his will. Then burn with me. The two blades crash again. This time, the shockwave ripples across miles, flattening the ridge and sending dust storms spiraling into the sky. Vernoso grits his teeth, sweat beating down his temple. The Tier 7 weapon presses back harder than expected, but he clings to his greed, eyes burning. That weapon will be mine. Alex exhales slowly, his gaze sharpening. I don't think you have the capabilities to take this sword of mine. The blade in his hand dissolves into light, vanishing back into his inventory. Vernoso blinks in shock. You, what? But before he can react, the air changes. Alex lifts his hand. A spear of flame condenses, sharper than glass, brighter than any Tier 6 fire should burn. It hums with something deeper, something absolute. Special Tier 6 skill, Flame Spear, law infused. The heat alone makes Vernoso's skin prickle, his instincts screaming. This isn't just fire. This is truth. He swings his law sword to cut it down, only for Alex to vanish in a crack of stormlight. Special Tier 6 skill, Storm Veil, law infused. In less than a blink, Alex is at his flank, the flame spear driving forward with surgical precision. The spear and the law sword collide. Boom! The explosion tears open the battlefield, a crater hundreds of meters wide birthing itself beneath their feet. Fire and storm coil together, shredding even Vernoso's law weapon into unstable fragments. He staggers back, blood spraying from a gash across his arm, his eyes wide with disbelief. Why you, how? What are you? Alex's expression is cold, unreadable, his voice steady. Something you'll never understand. He raises his hand again, stormlight dancing across his fingers. Another law-infused skill already taking shape. Gratham coughs up smoke and blood, forcing molten stone back into his cracked chest. Even in pain, his grin splits wide, tusks gleaming. Even with Tier 6 strength, his majesty is still toying with that Tier 7 human. Zurich snarls, tearing the remnants of flame from his wound with a growl. His void-flecked eyes narrow, watching the fight unfold like a predator. Chen, that man thought himself a son. But beside our king, he's just a flickering torch. Valira, scales still scorched, leans back against a slab of melted stone. Her stormlight hums faint but steady as her wounds knit. Her gaze, however, never leaves Alex. Her voice is softer, almost dreamy, her lips curling in a smile that defies the battlefield's ruin. What do you expect? Her eyes shine like lightning caught in water, filled with awe and something more. He is so handsome. Gratham lets out a booming laugh that rattles the molten ridge, even as blood drips down his tusks. Ha! Careful, Valira. You sound like you'll melt faster than the ground beneath us. Valira doesn't blink, her smile unwavering as stormlight flickers faintly around her. I don't care. I'll say it again, he's handsome. And he's ours to follow. Zurich snorts, ears flicking back as void trails across his wound. His tone is colder, but the respect in it is sharp as fangs. Speak all you want. But remember this, we can only stand this close to him because the stronger ones haven't resurrected yet. When they revive, we won't get this chance again. Chapter 298-297. Alex arrive, Part 3. The battlefield trembles as the two clash again. But this time Alex is the one pressing forward. His body is wreathed in the glow of multiple buffs. Strength swelling, speed crackling, endurance doubling with each stacked layer of power. The stormlight around him blurs. His strikes are sharper, faster, heavier than before. Vernoso grits his teeth, barely holding the line as sparks fly from every impact. His firelaw sword quivers against the pressure, and a bead of sweat rolls down his cheek. Impossible! Alex cuts him off mid-swing, his spear crashing down with brutal weight. Human, if you don't use something, then this will be a disappointing fight for me. Vernoso's pride shatters like glass. The humiliation burns hotter than his own flames. His aura bursts outward, fire clawing at the heavens. His voice rises in a roar. You will regret it. Witness my true power. His body ignites, not with ordinary fire, but with a deeper blaze, a fire that seems to devour the world itself. A crown of flame law forms above his head, and his wounds close as molten vitality surges through his veins. Tier 7 skill, Flame Sovereign's Baptism. The ground liquefies beneath his feet. The sky glows crimson, as if the sun itself bows to him. His presence swells, suffocating, drowning the battlefield in an inferno. Gratham staggers back, one arm raised against the searing wave. Damn it! Even from this distance, Their clash still burns us. Zurich snarls, void energy rippling to shield his form. Fangs bared. So, he's finally baring his fangs. For the first time, Valira's smile wavers, though her gaze never leaves Alex. And his majesty remains utterly at ease. Because Alex stands calm. Stormlight coils around him, flames bending away from his form. His gaze sharpens, his voice steady and cold. Good. At least now you're worth killing. Vernoso roars and vanishes, his speed multiplied, his sword blazing like a falling star. The blade arcs down, only for Alex to slip through the inferno, spear meeting it in a storm crash of force. Boom! The explosion tears through mountainsides, molten rock spraying like rain. Vernoso's buff strength drives down like a hammer, but Alex doesn't falter. His foot grinds into the cracked earth, spear pushing back with equal force. Their eyes lock through the blaze. Vernoso's grin is wild, manic. Now you see. This is Tier 7 power. Alex's reply is cold, almost amused. No, that is desperation. Vernoso's teeth grind, his pride burning hotter than the inferno he wields. His voice rips out in a guttural roar. Shut up. I will destroy that smug face of yours. He swings, his firelaw sword howling downward, carving a molten scar across the battlefield. The ground itself combusts, magma bursting skyward in his wake. Alex doesn't flinch. His hand glows with azure light, stormlight sharpening to a blade. Special Tier 6 skill, Stormfang Edge. Lightning condenses into his spear's tip, crackling in a blinding arc. He meets Vernoso's slash head-on. Crash! The clash erupts, lightning shredding fire in 1,000 sparks. Vernoso snarls, muscles straining as his flames resist. Alex pivots, sliding his hand across the haft, redirecting the force. The storm-imbued spear lances sideways, cutting across Vernoso's ribs. A shallow wound, but it burns with Stormlaw refusing to close. Vernoso's eyes widen. What? But Alex is already gone. His form blurring with a step cloaked in swirling mist. Special Tier 6 skill, Frost Veil Step. Cold surges across the battlefield, steam erupting as fire meets sudden ice. Frost coats Vernoso's arms, crawling across his blade. He roars, his firelaw flaring, burning the frost away. You think ice can smother my flame? Not just smother. Alex's voice comes from the mist, calm, unshaken. It can also freeze it. Vernoso whirls, fury distorting his face, his sword wreathed in firelaw. He hacks through the mist, each swing splitting stone and boiling air. But Alex reappears behind him, frost still clinging to his spear. With a twist of his wrist, he drives it forward. Special Tier 6 skill, Frostfang Thrust. The spear explodes with frozen force, shards of glacial ice lancing outward like 1,000 knives. The temperature plummets in an instant, the battlefield hissing as molten rock hardens into brittle obsidian. Rah-rah! Vernoso's roar splits the battlefield, his aura exploding outward in a storm of firelaw. Golden flames crown his body, devouring ice as it shatters and melts away on contact. The frozen air bends, consumed by the blaze. No matter what element you hurl at me, law reigns above them all. Alex's gaze never wavers. His tone is steady, unshaken, carrying the weight of certainty. You should know by now. These are no ordinary Tier 6 skills. Of course, Vernoso knows it. His instincts scream the truth. These Tier 6 skills his enemy wields are not ordinary. They carry law within them, refined and fused, an impossibility. His mind reels, torn between disbelief and terror. How can Tier 6 carry law? The thought claws at his pride, burning worse than the wounds lacing his body. And the worst part? This man, this monster, is hurling them at him like they're nothing more than cabbages tossed in a market square. Vernoso's jaw tightens. His strikes grow wilder, more frantic, firelaw raging to keep the storm, the frost, the crushing weight of Alex's attacks at bay. His teeth grind until blood fills his mouth. This can't be real. Alex's spear whistles through the air, crashing down. Each blow feels inevitable, like the hammer of judgment itself. Sparks and embers spray with every clash, the battlefield splitting and melting beneath them. Vernoso shouted, aura blazing. I carry the sovereignty of flame itself. My firelaw devours all. He swings with enough force to split the earth, molten fire ripping open the ground. But Alex slides through it, stormlight coiling around his form. His spear lashes like lightning, piercing Vernoso's guard. But Alex slides through it, stormlight coiling around his form. His spear lashes like lightning, piercing Vernoso's guard. A searing gash cuts across Vernoso's chest, small, but law-forged. The wound refuses to close. His eyes widen, panic bleeding through his fury. And no, Even my flame law. Vernoso staggers back, gripping his sword tighter, body trembling under the storm pressing down on him. The suffocating truth gnaws at his heart. He's losing. Every swing drains him further. Every exchange leaves another wound that refuses to heal. Alex presses forward, spear weaving arcs of lightning, frost, and crushing gale. Each movement flows into the next with seamless precision. Calm, ruthless, efficient. You talk too much, Alex says flatly. Vernoso roars again, more from desperation than pride. His body ignites, firelaw clawing against inevitability. He throws everything into one last strike, his blade wreathed in fire like a falling sun. I will not be defeated. Alex steps into the blaze, spear glowing with stormlight, and meets the strike head-on. The explosion shatters the battlefield. Mountainsides crumble. The sky splits with fire and thunder. When the explosion finally subsides, the battlefield is a ruin of molten trenches and jagged obsidian ridges. Smoke coils upward, blotting the stars. But Vernoso is nowhere to be seen. In the distance, a streak of flame cuts across the sky. Retreat, not triumph. His speed is frantic, desperate. The flight of a man who has thrown away his pride for survival. Gratham's eyes widen. He's running. Zurich snarls, void aura flaring. That coward. The Lyra tilts her head, wings stirring the air. Her smile returns, sharp and amused. He finally realized what happens when you bare your throat before His Majesty. Before they can say more, Alex's voice settles directly into their minds. Calm, steady, undeniable. You three, go back and help Mazel. The command resonates like thunder wrapped in silk, impossible to ignore. I'll go after this bastard. And kill him. With that, the three streak away, their forms vanishing into the haze. It doesn't take long. Stormlight folds around Alex's body, his speed stretching beyond the limits of sight. In moments, the blazing trail ahead shrinks, the morning sun catching on Vernoso's flaming figure. Alex's laugh rings out, sharp and mocking. Why are you running? Weren't you going to burn me alive? Vernoso glances back, eyes wild, his face twisted with both rage and terror. Leave me alone, you freak of nature. You won't catch me. Even multiple tier 7s couldn't catch me, much less you. Alex only grins, his spear spinning once in his hand, sparking arcs scattering like dawn lightning. Yet here I am. Chapter 299-298. Into the unknown continent. Vernoso's breath comes ragged, firelaw burning off him in wild waves as he pushes his body to its limit. His hand dips into his robes, clutching something tight. A crystal sphere veined with cracks, its glow unstable, dangerous. Alex's eyes narrow, catching the faint shimmer. He doesn't slow, stormlight curling around him, but his voice carries, low and cutting. So you've still got a trick left. What are you planning, human? Vernoso's teeth grind, his lips curling back in a snarl. You think you've cornered me? Ha! You'll never have me. He slams the crystal against his chest. It fractures with a sound like screaming glass. The morning air twists violently as space itself shudders. Symbols of ancient origin flare around Vernoso's body, bright and unstable. The very earth splits. The sky ripples, a distortion pulling outward in every direction. Alex halts for the first time, his gaze sharp, assessing. The pressure is different, not law fire, displacement, reality itself bending. Alex narrows his eyes, stormlight flickering sharper around his frame. A new toy. Vernoso's face twists into a manic grin, teeth bared as the crystal sinks deeper into his chest, fusing with his flesh. Ha ha. Let's see if you can still keep that mug face of yours in the next moment. A pulse erupts, and suddenly the world lurches. A violent suction grips Alex's body. Not wind, not flame, but something deeper. The law of space itself tears at him, pulling everything toward the collapsing core around Vernoso. The battlefield warps, mountains stretch like shadows. The morning sun folds into distorted arcs, and the air hums with unbearable tension. Vernoso's voice echoes through the rupture, wild and mocking, carried by the tearing space. I hope I won't see you again. Freak of nature. Ha ha ha. Alex's body jerks forward, the pull of the vortex absolute. Stormlight sputters, his stacked buffs unraveling one by one. Lightning gutters, frost fades. Even his storm aura bleeds away as if being devoured by the tunnel. The next moment, darkness. Alex is hurled into a spiraling void, a tunnel of fractured mirrors and broken stars. His body compresses, stretched, crushed, and freed in rapid succession. Pressure gnaws at his bones, claws at his skin, and seeks to unmake his essence. His breathing grows heavy, the void trying to strip away everything that defines him. TCH. Alex steadies his grip on his spear, eyes flashing with cold light. That thing, it must be an item that tears open space itself. A teleportation artifact. The void shrieks around him. His buffs continue to dissolve. Yet his expression doesn't break. Calm, focused, decisive. With a thought, he pulls open his system inventory. His hand closes around a cold, silver talisman etched with lines of shifting runes. The moment it touches his palm, it vibrates with quiet power. An item forged to shield against the madness of space. He presses the talisman against his chest. It flares instantly, a dome of translucent light wrapping his body, pushing back the gnawing void energy. The pressure lessens, the tearing sensation steadies. Around him, the space tunnel continues to twist and howl. But Alex's form is now anchored, stormlight beginning to flicker back, restrained yet alive. His eyes sharpen, a dangerous gleam in them. Run all you want. His voice is a quiet growl, swallowed by the void. No matter where this throws us, I'll find you. The tunnel trembles, light splitting ahead into countless fractures. Gateways to unknown continents. The tunnel rattles, fractures of light slamming shut one after another until only a single path remains. The pull intensifies, then, boom, it spits Alex out like a stone flung from a sling. He crashes through the treeline, snapping trunks and branches, until his boots slam into solid earth. Dust sprays, leaves rain down. The silver talisman flickers once before fading into nothingness. Its job complete. Alex straightens slowly. His eyes sweep the surroundings. Jagged peaks rising in the distance, dense green stretching in every direction. Morning mist caught in the canopy. The air is heavy with the scent of pine and damp stone. A mountainous forest. He exhales, sharp and steady. TCH. Looks like that space warp tossed me somewhere random. Silence answers him, save for the whisper of leaves swaying above. No trace of Vernoso's aura. No ripple of firelaw. Only the quiet heartbeat of untamed wilderness. Alex tilts his head, eyes narrowing as he tests the air again. Nothing. He clicks his tongue. So, he ended up somewhere else. Alex exhales, mana flickering faintly around him as he looks up at the sky beyond the treetops. Without hesitation, he flies off, and his figure blurs upward, cutting through the mist and bursting above the canopy. The mountain winds whip against him, carrying scents of pine and iron-rich stone. But the peace doesn't last. A screech tears through the sky, sharp and guttural. From the side, a massive beast lunges. A winged predator, scales glinting like obsidian, its claws dripping with killing intent. Its aura screams Tier 6. Alex's eyes narrow. His sword flashes free, a streak of silver wrapped in stormlight. One clean arc, HRRK. The beast's head parts from its body, blood scattering in a crimson mist. Its corpse plummets into the trees, snapping trunks on impact. Alex doesn't even slow. He flicks the blood from his blade, voice calm, almost bored. One down. But the forest answers back. Branches whip as another Tier 6 beast explodes upward. This one armored in jagged stone, its roar shaking the air. Behind it, several lesser auras rise, Tier 5s, surging like a tide. The air thickens with killing intent as the mountains themselves seem to disgorge their guardians. The stone beast lunges. Alex twists midair, his blade carving downward in a stormlit arc. Boom! The slash cleaves through its neck, stormlight tearing through its body. It crashes into the canopy, sending a shockwave through the forest below. Another Tier 6 comes from above, talons spread wide, its body like a black eagle large enough to blot out the sun. Alex spins, lightning flickering at his feet. Persistent. His voice is flat. He thrusts upward, sword piercing straight through its chest. Lightning detonates from the blade, ripping through flesh and bone. The eagle convulses, shrieking, then falls limp, its wings folding as it crashes down the mountainside. For a minute, the forest howls with life and death. Beasts rush from every direction. Fangs, claws, scales, wings. Tier 5s fall in waves, their bodies torn apart by sword arcs too fast to follow. 3 Tier 6 guardians meet the same end, their corpses burning with stormlight wounds that refuse to close. And then silence. Alex hovers midair, his sword humming faintly, blood dripping off the edge before being burned clean by crackling lightning. His eyes sweep the mountains. No more beasts, only the wind. He exhales, steady. It's sure this place is packed with strong beasts. His gaze turns to the far horizon where the peaks give way to what looks like plains, rivers glinting faintly under the morning sun, and something else, vast shapes of cities or ruins too far to tell. Alex tilts his head, stormlight curling faintly around him. A smirk tugs at his lips. I wonder what continent is this? Alex continues to fly, cutting across the clouds with ease, his aura leaving faint ripples in the air. The mountain range sprawls beneath him like an endless sea of stone. But as he pushes further, something unusual takes shape in the distance. At first, it looks like another jagged peak, but the closer he gets, the clearer it becomes. A colossal mountain with its summit sliced flat, as though a god's blade had sheared it clean. Atop that flattened peak rests a city. The sight is striking. Towers of obsidian and silver rise like fangs against the sky, walls carved directly from the mountain stone. Bridges arc across deep chasms, connecting different tiers of the city. Wide avenues bustle with life. Winged beasts gliding between spires, hulking forms carrying goods, sharp-eyed sentinels patrolling the walls. Alex slows, hovering above the edge of the clouds, watching. His stormlight dims slightly, not to conceal himself, but to take in the details without drawing premature attention. Monsters, he mutters, his eyes narrowing as he sees them clearly. Minotaurs hauling crates, serpentine figures coiled on market steps, arachne weaving shimmering nets above open plazas. Demonic-looking guards clad in dark armor standing watch at the gates. There's no mistaking it. This is a city of monsterkind, thriving and ordered. Chapter 399. Iron Group. Alex descends through the clouds and toward the mountain city, the air humming faintly as he suppresses his aura. His armor is no longer the ornate, eye-catching plating he wore in battle. He changed earlier into a simpler set, dark leather reinforced with steel, something any seasoned traveler might wear. Without the armor, his features stand out more clearly. Sharp, otherworldly. His presence more akin to the rare monster races he now sees roaming the streets below. When his boots touch the stone road at one of the mountain gates, the guards, hulking beastkin with obsidian horns and crimson eyes, pause to glance at him. Their stares linger for a moment, sensing something unusual about him. But in this city, unknown monster races are not so uncommon. Alex walks forward, his gaze sweeping the streets. The city is alive with activity. A trio of lizardfolk haggle with a merchant over glowing herbs. A frost giantess kneels to inspect a rack of spears forged from bone. Winged gargoyles perch on balconies, watching the crowds below. A pair of arachne scuttle across a bridge, their silken bundles stacked high on their backs. He continues down the avenue, catching faint glimmers of rare items displayed in open-air stalls. Runed crystals, weapons that hum faintly with law energy, jars of beast blood still steaming with vitality. His gaze lingers here and there, calculating. He mutters under his breath, calm but deliberate. Some of these could fetch a fortune back home. His eyes shift toward the heart of the city, where a tall spire rises above the other structures. A carved emblem of crossed blades and a beast's claw marks the stone above the entrance. The building buzzes with noise, voices, laughter, the clang of weapons being set down. Alex's steps slow, and he exhales softly. The Adventurers Guild. His tone is measured, but intent sharpens in his gaze. If I want information fast, that's the place. He resumes walking, blending easily into the flow of monsterkind around him. A troll in heavy furs bumps past, grumbling in a guttural tongue. A winged woman with feathers of molten gold gives him a sidelong look, curious, before moving on. Alex ignores the glances. He's used to them. His hand brushes the hilt of his sword absently as he passes another market row. His eyes briefly catching on a blade forged of dark steel, etched with runes that pulse faintly red. He pauses, studying it for a heartbeat. Not bad, he murmurs, tilting his head slightly. He moves on, boots striking stone with steady rhythm. The guild grows closer, its noise swelling louder, the scent of blood, ale, and burning incense thick in the air. The heavy doors groan as Alex pushes them open, the guild's atmosphere crashing into him like a wave, boisterous laughter, mugs clanking, the deep rumble of monster-kind voices. Dozens of eyes flick his way, but most quickly return to their drinks and talks. Alex walks straight to the front desk where a woman waits, her skin a shade of pale lilac, horns curling delicately from her temples, her smile polished but sharp. "What can I do for you, sir?" she asks, voice melodic yet businesslike. "I'm here to upgrade my rank," Alex says flatly, resting his hand on the desk. Her eyes brighten slightly, though her smile doesn't change. "And what rank are you currently holding?" "Adamantine," he answers. She blinks, then tilts her head curiously. "Oh, that's already impressive. For a monster of your unique bloodline," she adds carefully, scanning his features. "But to apply for diamond rank, I'll need to confirm your tier." She reaches beneath the counter, placing a crystalline orb on the desk. It hums faintly with law energy. "If you would, place your hand here." Alex does so. The crystal glows bright, streaks of lightning flickering inside before settling. The receptionist studies it, her eyes widening slightly. Tier 6, remarkable. But, her gaze narrows. This is fresh. You've just broken through, haven't you? Alex doesn't flinch. And, she exhales, leaning forward on the desk. Sir, the test for diamond rank isn't something you can take lightly. It's designed for seasoned Tier 6 adventurers. Even with your breakthrough, I strongly recommend you form a party. Going alone is reckless. I'll manage. Alex's tone is even, his eyes steady on hers. But she frowns, stubbornness flashing in her gaze. I've seen too many overconfident warriors thrown into that trial only to come back in pieces, or not at all. I won't stand by and let another one throw his life away. He exhales through his nose, almost amused. Fine. Recommend me a group. Her smile softens, though her eyes still study him with sharpness. Good. There are a few capable parties in the city. I'll fetch their files for you. She steps away, heels clicking against the polished stone floor. As she disappears into the back, Alex rests one hand on the counter, his gaze sweeping across the rowdy hall of monsters drinking, boasting, and arguing. His voice is low, meant only for himself. The woman returns after a few minutes, a bundle of parchment in her hands. She sets them neatly on the desk before looking back at Alex with her same polished smile. Before we continue, my name is Boo, she says, tilting her head slightly. It's only proper you know who's helping you. I'm Alex, he replies simply. Boo nods, satisfied, then her expression sharpens just a touch. By the way, you do have the money to commission them, right? Alex rests an elbow on the counter. I have gold coins. Boo blinks, her smile slipping into mild surprise. Gold coins? Really? Alex raises an eyebrow. You don't use gold coins? She shakes her head quickly. We do, but most adventurers, especially the higher-ranked ones, prefer mana stones. They're easier to trade, lighter to carry, and let's just say no one ever argues about the purity of a mana stone. Alex leans back slightly. Well, I have mana stones too, so it shouldn't be a problem. Boo exhales, relieved. Good. That will make things smoother. She spreads the parchments across the counter, tapping the first one with a neatly manicured claw. All right, the first group I'd recommend is called Iron Group. Mostly beastkin, very disciplined, very professional. They've completed 6 diamond tier commissions without losing a single member. If you want steady reliability, they're the safest bet. Her hand shifts to the second parchment, a faint smile tugging at her lips. The second is Ashen Talon's group. They're not as polished as Iron Group, but they have a reputation for handling chaotic, high-risk jobs. Their leader is a harpy with a brutal combat style, and her team thrives on unpredictable fights. Riskier, yes, but effective. Finally, she taps the last parchment. Her expression sobers. And the third, the Dreadscar group. They have a reputation, good and bad. Strong, yes, very strong. Every member is tier 6. But they're mercenaries at heart, not idealists. They'll get the job done, but they're known for being difficult to work with unless you can keep them in line. Alex studies the parchments quietly, his eyes narrowing slightly as he considers each choice. He taps a finger once against the Iron Group sheet. This one. Iron Group suits me best. Boo blinks, then gives a small approving nod. A wise choice. Reliable, disciplined, and less likely to cause trouble. I'll send word to them. She sets the other parchments aside, tucking them neatly into a drawer. All right? She continues, folding her hands on the desk. But be warned, it may take some time for them to arrive. They're often out on assignments, so you might as well get something to eat while you wait. You won't be disappointed with the food here, I promise. Alex hums, then tilts his head slightly. I'll do that. But first, tell me, is there a way to hear about what's happening across this continent? Recent events, conflicts, that sort of thing. Boo's brows rise, and for a moment her composure slips. She thought, that's an unusual question. Alex's gaze doesn't waver. She exhales softly, then gestures to a nearby stall across the guild hall where a squat, four-armed troll is selling glowing trinkets and odd devices. One of them, a crystal sphere mounted on a clawed stand, flickers faintly, projecting shifting images in the air above it. That's what you're looking for, Boo explains. A news crystal. Feed it mana, and it will project the latest reports gathered from across the continent, like a holographic image, if you will. The guild keeps them updated daily. Chapter 301-300. The Three Main Continent. Alex turns his head toward the stall, his eyes narrowing faintly as he studies the shifting images in the air. Skirmishes between armored men, burning villages, banners bearing a golden sun. He exhales through his nose, then looks back at Boo. So this is how you all keep track of the world. Boo folds her arms lightly over the desk. Of course. For us monsters living in this continent, information can mean the difference between profit and death. Alex nods once and walks to the stall. The troll vendor grins wide, all tusks and drool, his voice booming. Looking to keep up with the world? Stranger? One news crystal will cost you 3 high-grade mana stones. Worth every shard. Alex flips open his pouch and places the stones down without hesitation. I'll take it. The troll blinks, surprised at the lack of haggling, but grins wider and pushes the crystal across. Pleasure doing business. Alex picks up the crystal, the cool surface thrumming faintly in his hand. He channels a thread of mana into it, and the air above the sphere shimmers, images spilling into existence like liquid light. First, a vast map of the continent stretches out. A name burns faintly across it. Pharanthia. Alex's gaze sharpens. So, this is where I am. The images shift. Banners bearing the crest of a silver crown. Columns of human soldiers marching through wide stone cities. The voice within the projection is low, clear, and steady, carrying the news. The human kingdoms of Pharanthia continue their consolidation. Trade routes remain secure, though border skirmishes with rogue monster tribes persist. Alex narrows his eyes slightly. Humans rule this land, then. A moment later, the image flickers again, showing burning forests, wandering ogres clashing with armored knights. He mutters under his breath, calm and analytical. Even if they own most of the land, some places are still wild monster lands. The projection changes again, zooming outward this time. The map expands, showing 3 colossal landmasses, each continent nearly double the size of Earth. The glowing markers pulse, identifying them one by one. Beyond Pharanthia lies Nevern continent and Vora continent. Alex's brows lift faintly. Nevern and Vora? The crystal shifts its display again. Vora shows kingdom and empires in sprawling jungles, mountains dark with colossal beasts, and cities carved from obsidian stone. Vora is the domain of monster races. Unified in their own way, their empires and tribes stretch across the land. Alex studies the image carefully. Vora, the heart of the monsters. Fitting. The projection shifts again, this time to lands scarred and wild, scattered with tribes of varied, unfamiliar beings. Neither wholly human nor wholly monster. And Nevern, the continent of the rejected. Those without a place in Pharanthia or Vora gather here. Races too scattered, too strange, too defiant to belong elsewhere. Alex leans forward slightly, his eyes gleaming with a spark of interest. The land of the rejected, HM? That sounds worth seeing. The projection dims, returning to its resting state. Alex sets the crystal down for a moment, his thoughts steady, sharp. So 3 continents. Pharanthia for humans. Vora for monsters. Nevern, the castaways. Alex doesn't linger in thought for long. He sets the crystal on the table beside him, folding his arms as he waits. The guild hall's noise rolls on around him. Laughter, shouts, the clatter of mugs. After a short while, footsteps approach. He looks up to see Boo returning, this time balancing a tray of food. Steam rises from roasted beast meat glazed with herbs, a bowl of dark broth, and a loaf of stone-baked bread. She sets it neatly before him, her polished smile softening just a touch. Here you are, Boo says smoothly, adjusting the tray. Then, after a pause, she tilts her head slightly, curiosity glinting in her eyes. If you don't mind me asking, are you perhaps from another continent? Alex studies her calmly, then nods. Yes, I am. Boo's brows lift ever so slightly. I see. That explains your manner and your curiosity. It's unusual for someone from another continent to come to Pharanthia. Alex tears a piece of bread, his tone casual but steady. Is it that strange? Pharanthia is one of the 3 main continents. Isn't it? Boo leans against the edge of the table, arms lightly crossed. Strange? Not for humans. They come and go as they please. But for monsters, yes, it's rare. Most monsters who have the means to cross simply go straight to Vora, where they won't be hunted, where they can live without looking over their shoulders. Alex glances up at her, his expression unreadable. Oh? Then why don't you? Why not leave Pharanthia behind and live freely in Vora? Boo's smile fades into something quieter, more thoughtful. She lowers her voice. Because the way isn't open to us. The teleportation portals that link Pharanthia to Vora, they're heavily guarded. The strongest human forces watch over them day and night. Unless you're backed by a kingdom or carry official clearance, trying to pass through is suicide. Alex sets down the bread, his gaze sharp on her. So they control the gates. She nods slowly. Exactly. The portals are the only way between continents. Without them, The seas and skies will tear you apart before you ever glimpse another shore. That's why, for most monsters here, Vora is a dream they'll never touch. For a moment, the two of them hold each other's gaze. Alex is silent, but something faint flickers behind his eyes. Calculation. Boo straightens, brushing a hand along her horn absently. Well, she says with her usual polished tone returning. I've kept you long enough. Enjoy your meal. I'll return once I've received word from the Iron Group. She dips her head politely, then turns and walks back toward the counter, her heels clicking softly against the stone floor. Alex sits in silence for a moment, then finally pulls the tray closer. The roasted meat glistens with a faint sheen of oil, herbs baked into its surface. He slices a piece off with the side of his fork and takes a bite. His brows lift faintly. Not bad. The texture is firmer than he expects. The flavor bursts sharp with spice, smoky from the fire. He sips the broth next. Dark, earthy, almost bitter, but warming as it slides down. Even the bread, dense and coarse, has a satisfying crunch when he tears it. He eats slowly, steady, though every bite is assessed like part of training. When the last of the broth is gone, he exhales through his nose, faintly amused. For something unfamiliar, it's surprisingly good. The Iron Group still hasn't arrived. The guild continues to buzz, adventurers shuffling in and out, but Alex feels no urgency. After a moment of stillness, he stands, sliding the crystal into his inventory. No point sitting here. Let's see this city. He steps out into the streets. The mountain air is crisp, touched by pine and smoke from countless forges. Stone buildings rise on either side of the wide avenue, their walls carved with sigils that faintly glow, strengthening the structures. Monsters move through the streets in steady streams. Horned warriors in mail, scaled traders hauling carts, even winged beastfolk perched on rooftops shouting wares. Alex walks at an unhurried pace, his eyes scanning. With a thought, he summons his system overlay. Translucent numbers and symbols flicker over those he passes. Tier 5, LV. 533. Tier 5, LV. 528. Tier 5, LV. 551. Most hover in that range. A strong city but not overwhelming. Then, farther ahead, a cloaked figure crosses the street, and the overlay sharpens. Tier 6, LV. 612. Alex narrows his eyes faintly. The figure vanishes into an alley, unnoticed by most. A moment later, another armored beastkin strides past with a weapon on his back. Tier 6, LV. 608. He exhales lightly, mostly Tier 5s. But there are some hidden blades here. A vendor notices him pausing and calls out, voice gruff but not unfriendly. Hey stranger, first time in shade? Don't just stand around staring. Come buy something. Freshly smoked basilisk jerky. Alex tilts his head slightly, expression neutral. I've eaten already. The vendor snorts, shaking his head. Suit yourself. But you'll regret it when you're marching hungry. Alex moves on, scanning the crowded streets. His steps are calm, but every motion around him is measured, noted the strength of the city, the flow of its people, the tension hidden under its surface. Though it's a human-controlled continent, monsters build cities in its shadow. And even here, power isn't scarce. His eyes narrow, a dangerous gleam flickering within them. This continent is worth unraveling. Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today.